Part 1 begins on a cold winter morning, in a quiet region surrounded by tall trees and snow-covered ground. The air was so cold that every breath turned into a small white cloud. A 6-year-old girl named Mia lived in a small wooden house with her parents. Their home stood at the edge of a large forest, a place often used by a nearby native tribe, who traveled through it during different seasons. Life here was simple, calm, and closely connected to nature. Mia was a bright, curious child, with a small, round face and big, warm eyes. She loved exploring nature with her parents. Every morning she looked out the window to see birds hopping on branches and to watch the snow shimmer under sunlight. That day, her parents planned to visit a nearby town to buy food and supplies. The quickest way to get there was through the forest path that connected their home with the town, and also crossed the area where the tribe often passed by. Mia loved this path. To her, it felt like walking inside a magical storybook. The trees stood tall like gentle giants. The wind whispered softly through branches, and small footprints of animals marked the snow. She always carried her little blanket with her on trips. It was soft, warm, and colorful. Her grandmother had made it for her when she was a baby, so Mia treasured it like a close friend. She carried it everywhere, not because she needed it, but because it made her feel comforted. As they walked, her parents talked about their plans for the day. Mia skipped along the snowy ground, humming softly to herself and looking for interesting shapes in the snow. The day felt peaceful, and nothing seemed unusual until they turned a corner on the narrow forest path. Ahead of them stood a young native woman holding a baby close to her chest. The woman's clothes were simple and made of natural materials, and her long dark hair was braided neatly. Her expression showed calmness, but her eyes revealed worry. The baby wrapped in her arms was very small, maybe only a few months old. The woman was trying her best to keep the baby warm, but the cloth around the baby was thin, not enough for such a cold morning. Mia noticed something her parents didn't see at first. The baby's tiny hands peeked out from the wrap and looked red from the cold. The baby's face showed signs of discomfort, and its small lips trembled. Even though Mia was only 6 years old, she understood the meaning of the baby's shivering. She felt a kind of gentle pull inside her heart, as if something was silently telling her to help. Her parents greeted the young mother politely. They had met members of the tribe before, so there was always mutual respect. The woman greeted them with a small nod and a soft smile, but her hands tightened protectively around the baby. She didn't complain or ask for help. She simply stood there, doing what she could. Mia watched the scene quietly. She looked at the baby, then looked at her own blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her blanket was warm, thick, and soft. She remembered how it protected her from the cold nights and how it always made her feel safe. Without thinking twice, Mia stepped forward. Her mother saw her moving and said, "Mia, stay close to us." But Mia didn't stop. She stood in front of the native mother, reached up with her small hands, and gently placed her own blanket over the baby. The woman looked surprised. She hadn't expected the little girl to walk toward her or offer something so meaningful. The baby's shivering slowly softened as the warmth from Mia's blanket spread around its tiny body. "Here," Mia said quietly. "My blanket is warm. The baby needs it more than me." Her voice was soft, but it carried a kind of honesty that could melt the cold morning. The native woman's eyes filled with emotion. Though she kept her expression calm, she placed one hand over Mia's blanket as if to say thank you without words. Then she slowly bowed her head slightly, a gesture that showed deep gratitude in her culture. Mia smiled up at her, not fully understanding the cultural meaning, but understanding the feeling behind it. Her parents watched her with surprise. They didn't think she would do something so thoughtful on her own. Her mother felt her eyes soften, and her father gave a proud smile. The native mother tried to speak in her own language first, but seeing that Mia might not understand, she switched to simple words. "Thank you, kind child," she said softly. Her voice carried warmth, kindness, and something deeper, perhaps relief. Mia nodded happily. "The baby was cold," she said, as if that explained everything. To her, sharing her blanket wasn't a big decision. It was just something her heart told her to do. She didn't think about how much she loved her blanket, or how she might miss it later. In her mind, she simply saw someone who needed it more. Her parents and the young mother continued talking briefly, exchanging polite words. They learned that the tribe had been traveling since early morning, and the colder temperature that day had made the journey more difficult for the baby. The mother wanted to reach the village soon but had to rest because the cold was too harsh for the baby's small body. As Mia's family prepared to continue their walk, the native woman held the baby closer, now safely wrapped in Mia's colorful blanket. She looked at Mia again with deep gratitude. She touched her own heart gently, then pointed to Mia, a gesture that said, "I will remember this." Mia simply waved. As they walked away, Mia felt lighter. Even though she had given away her blanket, she didn't miss it in that moment. She kept thinking about the baby's small face, and how the shivering had stopped when she gave the blanket. Her parents walked quietly for a moment, thinking about what they had witnessed. Her father finally spoke. "Mia," he said softly. "That was a very kind thing you did," her mother added. "We're proud of you. Not everyone thinks of others so quickly." Mia shrugged with a small smile. "The baby was cold," she repeated, as if it were the simplest reason in the world. Her parents looked at each other and smiled. Sometimes, adults overthink things. Sometimes they forget how powerful pure kindness can be. But Mia, in her innocent and genuine way, reminded them. They continued their journey through the snowy forest. The sun was rising higher, making the snow sparkle like tiny diamonds. Birds fluttered above the trees, and the path felt brighter somehow. Mia felt warm inside even without her blanket. It was the kind of warmth that doesn't come from fabric or fire, but from doing something good without expecting anything in return. Little did Mia know that her simple act of kindness had already begun to travel through the tribe like a soft wind carrying a story. The moment she placed her blanket on the baby, something meaningful started. The tribe believed deeply in gestures made from the heart. They believed that every good deed should be honored in some way. Mia walked on happily, unaware that her small act would soon lead to something remarkable, something she could never have imagined. And while she didn't know it yet, the tribe was already preparing to respond in a way that would surprise not only her but everyone who heard the story later. After the day Mia gave her blanket to the freezing native baby, life returned to its usual rhythm in her small wooden house. Winter days were long, cold, and quiet. Mia still played outside, made shapes in the snow, and helped her mother with little chores. But something special had been set in motion, even though Mia didn't know it yet. The young native mother who received Mia's blanket returned to her tribe's village later that same day. The journey was slow because she had to be careful with her baby. But the baby was warmer now and more comfortable, wrapped safely in the thick, colorful blanket. When the mother reached the village, several members of the tribe came forward to greet her. They asked about her trip and how the baby was doing. One of the elders noticed the bright blanket. It didn't look like something their tribe normally made. He asked, "Where did this come from?" The young mother explained the whole story. She spoke with gratitude, describing how a little girl she had never met before walked up to her with kindness and wrapped her own blanket around the shivering baby. Her voice carried emotion, and her eyes softened as she spoke. The tribe listened closely. They had great respect for kindness, especially when shown by someone very young. Their traditions taught them that a good-hearted gesture, especially one made without asking for anything in return, created a bond between people. Many of the elders felt touched hearing how a 6-year-old girl acted with such thoughtfulness and innocence. In every tribe, story, and lesson passed down through generations, children were often seen as pure-hearted guides who reminded adults of the simple truths of life. So Mia's action meant more to them than just giving a blanket. It felt like a gentle sign of friendship. The elders gathered around a small fire in the center of the village to discuss the event. Snow fell softly outside their homes, shaped from wood and natural materials. The fire's warm glow lit up their thoughtful faces as they spoke. One elder said, "A gift like this should be honored." Another added, "A child who shares from her heart should be remembered." The young mother held the baby close as she listened. She felt deeply grateful and also hopeful. She wished they could thank Mia properly, not just with words, but in a way that carried meaning from their culture. They agreed that they would invite Mia and her family to the village for a small gathering. It would be simple, peaceful, and full of appreciation. A messenger from the tribe, an older man who often traveled between the village and the nearby town, offered to bring the message to Mia's family. He had a calm presence and always wore a thoughtful expression. The next morning, he traveled through the forest path that connected the tribe's land with the area where Mia lived. At Mia's home, the morning began like any other. Mia helped her mother place firewood inside the stove, and her father prepared tools for work. When someone knocked softly on their door, they were surprised. Visitors were rare in such cold weather. Mia opened the door and saw the native man standing there with snow on his coat and a gentle smile on his face. He greeted them politely and explained why he had come. He said the tribe heard about Mia's kind gesture and wanted to invite her family to a small cultural gathering. Mia's parents listened with surprise. They hadn't expected anything like this. Mia stood beside them with wide eyes, feeling both shy and excited. The man added, "The elders wish to honor the kindness of your daughter. We hope you will visit our village in 2 days." Mia's mother thanked him warmly. Her father nodded with respect. After the man left, they turned to Mia. She looked confused. "Why do they want to see me?" she asked. Her mother smiled. "Because they were touched by what you did for the baby. They want to show their appreciation." Mia thought about it for a moment, then her face lit up. "Will the baby be there?" Her father laughed gently. "I think so." 2 days passed slowly for Mia because she was excited and a little nervous. She kept imagining what the village would look like. She had seen small groups of tribe members before, but she had never visited their home. She wondered what kind of gathering it would be and what they would do. Her parents reassured her that it would be peaceful and friendly. When the day finally came, the three of them dressed warmly and walked along the snowy forest path. The air was crisp, and the sky was a pale shade of blue. Mia held her mother's hand tightly. She wanted to appear brave, but inside she felt butterflies of excitement. As they reached the village, Mia saw wooden homes arranged in a circle around an open area where several people stood waiting. Some were elders with calm faces and gentle eyes. Others were mothers holding children. There were young boys and girls too, watching curiously from behind their parents. The young native mother who had received Mia's blanket stepped forward with her baby in her arms. The baby looked much healthier and happier, wrapped in the warm blanket that once belonged to Mia. When Mia saw the baby again, she smiled instantly. The mother smiled back, her eyes expressing deep gratitude. One of the elders stepped forward. He was tall and carried a walking stick made of carved wood. His voice was soft but firm as he addressed Mia and her parents. "We welcome you to our home," he began. "We have heard of the kindness shown by your daughter. Her heart is pure, and her action touched us deeply." Mia shifted slightly, feeling shy as several eyes looked at her. Her parents placed comforting hands on her shoulders, encouraging her silently. The elder continued, "We believe that when someone gives from the heart, it is important to honor them. Our tribe values kindness, especially from a child who thinks beyond herself. We invited you here, so we can show our respect." The tribe members standing around nodded with agreement. Some of them smiled warmly at Mia. She felt her cheeks warm even in the cold air. She didn't think she deserved so much attention. She just remembered the baby being cold and did what felt right. The gathering began with the tribe showing Mia and her family simple cultural traditions. They invited them to sit on soft mats, placed around a warm fire. The air smelled like freshly baked bread and herbs. Some women brought small baskets filled with handmade items, bracelets, woven cloths, and wooden carvings. Mia's eyes sparkled as she looked at each item. But what touched her most was the feeling in the air. Everyone looked happy that she was there. Everyone treated her with gentle respect, even though she was just a small 6-year-old girl. The young mother approached her again and placed her hand over her heart. "Your blanket helped my baby," she said softly. "I will always remember what you did." Mia smiled shyly. She didn't have many words, but her heart felt full. While the adults talked and shared stories, Some of the children from the tribe came closer to Mia. They were curious about her. One girl around Mia's age handed her a small wooden toy shaped like a bird. Mia took it with delight. They didn't speak the same language, but they exchanged smiles, which was enough. As the gathering continued, the elders decided they would present something special to Mia later, but they didn't reveal it yet. They wanted the moment to feel meaningful. For now, they simply shared warmth, kindness, and friendship with Mia's family. Mia's parents noticed how relaxed and joyful she had become. She was no longer nervous. She sat comfortably among the tribe children, listening, laughing softly, and observing everything with curious eyes. It amazed them how a simple act from their daughter had opened the door to such a beautiful connection. By the time the sun lowered behind the trees, painting the snow with a soft orange glow, Mia felt like she had stepped into a new world filled with culture, kindness, and tradition. She didn't know exactly what the tribe was planning next, but she felt something special was coming. Little did she realize that the honor they intended to give her would be something rare and meaningful, something that would surprise not only her but everyone around her. When Mia and her parents visited the tribe's village for the special gathering, Mia had no idea that something extraordinary was waiting for her. She had spent the first part of the visit playing, listening, observing, and feeling warmly welcomed by everyone. The village felt alive with activity. Smoke drifted from small fires where food was being cooked, children ran around with soft laughter, and elders sat together sharing quiet conversations. Mia felt like she had entered a different world, one filled with gentle respect and peaceful traditions. The afternoon sun was slowly moving toward the horizon, washing the snow-covered village in soft golden light. Mia sat near the fire with a few children from the tribe. They were showing her small toys and handmade objects. One girl handed her a tiny doll wrapped in cloth, and Mia held it carefully, admiring the details. Even though the children spoke a different language, their smiles and gestures made Mia feel included and safe. She had never made friends so quickly before. Her parents watched from a short distance, amused and proud. They could see how comfortably Mia blended into the group. Her father whispered to her mother, "Look at her. She's so happy." Her mother nodded with warm eyes. "She has a gentle heart. That's why she connects so easily." They knew this day would stay in their memories for a long time. After some time, an elder stepped forward and gently tapped his wooden staff on the ground. The small sound caught everyone's attention. The tribe members slowly gathered around the fire, forming a wide circle. Mia's parents stood up, and Mia joined them, feeling a slight flutter in her stomach. She had no idea what was about to happen, but she sensed that something important was coming. The elder who had spoken earlier, the tall man with the carved wooden walking stick, stood at the center of the circle. His expression was calm and kind. His long gray hair rested on his shoulders, and his voice carried quiet strength when he began to speak. "We are grateful today," he said, looking around the circle. "We are grateful for the warmth we share, for the kindness we witness, and for the hearts that shine even in the coldest days." Mia listened closely, feeling her curiosity grow. The elder continued, "A few days ago, someone very young showed us a great act of compassion. A little girl, with no knowledge of our customs, stepped forward and shared what she had simply because she saw someone in need." He paused and looked at Mia. "That little girl is standing among us today." Mia's cheeks warmed as all eyes turned toward her. She didn't feel scared, but she felt shy. She held her mother's hand, seeking comfort, and her mother gently squeezed her fingers to reassure her. The young native mother with the baby walked into the center of the circle. The baby, now comfortable and warm, was wrapped in Mia's colorful blanket, peacefully resting. The mother spoke softly, her voice trembling with emotion. "When I traveled through the forest, the cold was strong, and my baby was struggling. But this child," she pointed gently to Mia, "helped us without hesitation. She gave her blanket, the only warm cover she carried, to protect my baby." Mia's heart fluttered. She hadn't thought of it as something so big, but hearing it from the mother made her understand just how much it meant. The mother smiled at Mia. "You helped my child in a moment when I needed it the most. I will never forget your kindness." Mia felt something warm grow inside her, spreading like the glow of the fire nearby. Now the elder stepped forward again. He held something wrapped in a small piece of leather. He spoke clearly, and everyone listened with respect. In our tribe, we honor kindness, especially when it rises from a pure heart. We believe that a person who protects the young and helps without being asked carries a rare spirit. Such a person deserves recognition. He unwrapped the leather slowly, revealing a beautiful handmade necklace. It had a small, carved wooden pendant, a symbol shaped like a gentle leaf surrounding a tiny stone. The stone reflected the colors of the sky, shifting between blue and soft green. Mia's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like it. The elder held the necklace carefully, as if it were something sacred. This necklace, he explained, is a symbol we give only to those who act with a heart full of care for the young. It is given to tribe caretakers, people who spend their lives watching over children. Today, we offer this honor to Mia. There was a small gasp from some members of the tribe. This honor was usually reserved for older, responsible adults. But today, it was being given to a 6-year-old girl. Mia's parents were stunned. Her mother felt tears gathering in her eyes. Her father placed his hand on his daughter's back, proud beyond words. The elder slowly stepped toward Mia. The entire circle watched silently, their expressions soft and full of admiration. Mia took a small step forward, feeling her heart pound inside her chest. She didn't fully understand the meaning of the necklace, but she felt the love and respect around her. The elder gently placed the necklace around Mia's neck. The wooden pendant rested just above her heart. Mia touched it softly with her small fingers. It felt warm, smooth, and special. Something inside her felt different, like she had been given a treasure she would carry forever. After placing the necklace, the elder bent slightly to meet her eyes. "Your kindness warms our hearts," he said. "May you always carry this spirit with you." Mia nodded, her eyes bright. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice was small, but the meaning behind it was strong. The tribe members smiled warmly. Some clapped gently, others nodded in approval, and a few placed their hands over their hearts, a gesture of deep respect in their culture. The children around Mia looked at her with admiration. She had not only made new friends but also earned their respect. The young mother approached with her baby and stood before Mia. She lifted a soft hand and gently touched Mia's cheek. "You protected my child," she said. "Now, this village protects your memory." Mia felt overwhelmed with emotion. She didn't know what to say, so she simply smiled. The baby looked at her with bright eyes, as if recognizing the girl who helped keep him warm. The rest of the gathering became filled with joy. Some of the tribe members began to sing soft traditional songs, their voices rising gently into the winter air. A few women brought warm herbal tea and small pieces of bread to share with Mia and her family. Children gathered around Mia, eager to show her more handmade toys and play simple games. Mia felt lighter than ever. She couldn't stop touching the necklace gently, feeling its smooth edges. Every time her fingers brushed the pendant, she remembered the baby wrapped in her blanket and felt a special connection to the village. Her parents watched her with awe. They knew this experience would stay with her forever. They also felt grateful to the tribe, not just for honoring their daughter but for welcoming their family with honest warmth. As the sky turned a deeper shade of orange and the sun lowered behind the trees, the elder approached Mia again. "This necklace," he said kindly, "is not just a gift. It is a reminder of how a single act of kindness can grow and touch many hearts. Do not forget that your small action created something beautiful here." Mia nodded softly. "I won't forget. I won't forget." Her father lifted her up gently, and Mia leaned her head against his shoulder, still holding the necklace. She felt proud, loved, and deeply connected to something bigger than herself. As they prepared to leave the village, tribe members gathered near the path to wave goodbye. The young mother hugged Mia gently and whispered, "You will always be welcome here." Mia hugged her back and whispered, "I will come again." Walking home through the snowy path, Mia held onto her necklace the entire way. She felt like she was carrying a piece of the tribe's heart with her. She didn't know yet, but this moment, the honor she received, the bond she built would shape her life in ways she could not imagine, and she didn't know that the tribe still had more surprises, more warmth, and more friendship waiting for her in the future. But for now, she walked with a glowing heart, feeling the weight of her new treasure and the beauty of the. After the special day in the tribe's village, Mia walked home with her parents, feeling lighter than ever. The cold winter air touched her cheeks, but she hardly noticed it. She held the necklace gently in her small hand, feeling the smooth texture of the wooden pendant. It was more than just a gift, it was a reminder of the kindness she had shown and the love she had received in return. She didn't fully understand how big the moment was, but she knew it was something special she would carry with her forever. When Mia reached home, she went straight to her room and placed the necklace carefully on a small wooden shelf near her bed. Her room was simple, but now it felt different, as if something magical had followed her home. She kept looking at the necklace, thinking about the tribe, the baby, the warm smiles, and the songs that filled the air that day. She felt connected to them in a way she couldn't explain. The next morning, Mia woke up with a sense of excitement. Her first thought was about the tribe. She wondered how the baby was doing. She wondered if the children she played with were running around the village right now. She even wondered if the elder who honored her was sitting by the fire, sharing stories like he always did. Her parents noticed her excitement and smiled. They knew how much the experience meant to her. Her mother said, "We can visit them again soon." And just hearing that made Mia's heart fill with joy. She nodded eagerly. Days turned into weeks, and Mia visited the tribe's village many times with her parents. Each visit felt like stepping into a warm, welcoming world. The tribe respected her family deeply and treated Mia like one of their own. The children would run up to her the moment she arrived, eager to play with her again. They showed her how to make small toys using wood, grass, and colorful threads. They taught her simple songs from their culture. Even though they didn't speak the same language fluently, their laughter made communication easy. The young mother who received Mia's blanket always greeted her with a warm smile. She often placed the baby, now healthier and more active, into Mia's arms. Mia loved holding the baby. She would gently sway back and forth while the baby looked up at her with bright eyes. Each time, she felt proud knowing that her small act had helped the baby during a difficult moment. The elders also welcomed Mia warmly. They would invite her to sit by the fire during the evenings, sharing stories about their traditions, their ancestors, and the meaning behind their symbols and rituals. Mia listened with wide eyes, absorbing every word, even if she didn't understand all of it. Her favorite moments were when the elder who gave her the necklace would speak. His voice carried peace, and his words felt like a soft breeze that touched her heart. Mia's parents enjoyed every visit too. They learned about the tribe's way of life, their respect for nature, and the gentle way they treated each other. Over time, a bond grew between the two families, Mia's family and the tribe. It was a connection built on kindness, trust, and mutual respect. They shared meals together, exchanged small gifts, and celebrated the changing seasons. One day, during early spring, the tribe invited Mia's family to a seasonal festival. It was a tradition they celebrated to welcome warmer days. The village was decorated with colorful cloths and hand-carved symbols. Children wore small bands around their wrists, and women braided colorful threads into their hair. The air was filled with soft drumbeats and joyful laughter. Mia had never seen anything so beautiful. She danced with the tribe children, copying their steps clumsily at first, but eventually matching their rhythm. Her parents joined other families, sharing food and stories. The young mother carried her baby around the festival, smiling proudly as people admired how healthy and strong the baby had become. At one point, the elder who honored Mia approached her again. This time, he held a small woven pouch. He handed it to Mia and said softly, "For your kindness." When Mia opened it, she found tiny wooden beads, each carved with small symbols. They were meant to be added to her necklace. Mia felt her heart warm instantly. The elder explained, "These beads represent friendship and unity. Our village wants you to carry them with you." Mia nodded with a big, grateful smile. As the months passed, Mia's visits continued. The changing seasons didn't affect their growing bond. In summer, the forest was green and full of life. Mia helped the children gather berries and leaves for herbal mixtures. In autumn, she watched how the tribe prepared for the colder months, storing food and weaving warm clothes. And in winter, even though the snow returned, Mia never forgot the day she gave her blanket to the baby, the day everything changed. Her small act created something bigger than she ever imagined. It connected two families, two cultures, and two ways of life. It taught her parents that kindness could open doors and build bridges. It taught the tribe that even a child from outside their community could carry a heart full of warmth and compassion. Years slowly moved forward. Mia grew older, but she never stopped visiting the tribe. The baby she had once helped grew into a lively child who followed her everywhere she went. The children she met during her first visit became her close friends. She learned more about their traditions, their dances, their songs, and their values. And every time she looked at her necklace, she remembered the honor she carried and the love behind it. Even when Mia's family moved slightly farther from the forest due to her father's job, the connection remained. They would still visit during important seasons, festivals, or whenever Mia missed her friends. The tribe always welcomed her with the same warmth, the same gentle smiles, and the same deep respect. As Mia entered her teenage years, she became more aware of how special her bond with the tribe was. She understood the meaning behind the necklace and the beads she had collected over time. She realized that kindness had shaped her life in ways she never expected. She understood that her simple act performed when she was just 6 years old had created a chain of goodness that touched many hearts. Her parents often told her, "You created something beautiful without even knowing it." And Mia would smile, remembering the cold morning in the forest when she saw the baby shivering and acted without thinking twice. When Mia reached adulthood, she visited the tribe once more before leaving for her studies in a nearby city. The elder who had honored her all those years ago was older now, his hair almost completely white. He welcomed her warmly and held her hands in his. "You grew up well," he said softly. "You carried kindness with you, as we hoped you would." Mia felt emotional listening to him. "You all taught me so much," she replied. Before she left, the elder placed one final bead into her hand. It was carved differently from the others, with a design that looked like a rising sun. "This bead," he said, "represents a new path. Wherever you go, carry your kindness with you. It will guide you." Mia nodded, her eyes shining with gratitude. She promised to return whenever she could. As time passed, and Mia stepped into her adult life, she never forgot her childhood bond with the tribe. The necklace remained one of her most precious possessions. Sometimes, when life became busy or stressful, she would hold the wooden pendant and remember the warm fire, the smiling children, the gentle songs, and the moment the elder placed the necklace around her neck. And she always remembered the lesson that started it all, that even the smallest act of kindness could create a bond that lasts a lifetime. The tribe continued to tell the story of the little girl who gave her blanket to a freezing baby. They shared it with younger generations, teaching them that kindness has no age, no boundary, and no limit. They reminded everyone that compassion can build bridges between strangers and turn them into lifelong friends. Mia's life moved forward, but the story of her kindness lived on, touching many hearts and reminding the world that simple acts can create powerful, beautiful connections.